So in today's video, I wanted to talk about how I style my hair. Now, I have gotten a lot of comments and questions about how I style my hair, what products do I use, what techniques do I use, so that's what today's video is about. I think you will be happy to know that I don't actually do that much. I'm pretty low maintenance. I'm way more high maintenance at a lot of other things in my life, like skincare and makeup. I could probably spend just an hour doing those things every day. But with my hair, I like to keep it simple. I like to keep it fast. I don't use a lot of heat styling. I have some products and techniques that have worked for me for a very long time. I really feel like the key to getting that pretty low effort, French girl inspired hair is to just let your texture be. And it's not really about altering it so much that it doesn't look low maintenance, if that makes sense. One thing that I really do feel like is key with my hairstyling in general is to just play into what my hair wants to do. If my hair is feeling super flat no matter what I do, then I wear it more sleek. So this video is more about how I get the more textury, more French fringe sort of look. But also, if my hair's not wanting to do this, I'm not gonna force it to. If I was more talented with hairstyling, then I definitely would. So weirdly enough, a couple of the video clips that I took for this video, the sound got all screwed up. So I'm just quickly filling in the gaps and re-recording those little bits. So yes, it is a different day. Yes, I am still pretty much wearing the same thing. Anyway, just a couple of things before we jump into the routine itself. Number one, I do have more of a medium texture hair. I don't have really smooth hair. I don't have really coarse hair. It's just somewhere in the middle. Here's the thing. I think it's important to lean into whatever your natural hair texture is. All hair textures are beautiful. We hear it, but we should start believing it. I think that that is really important. So my routine really revolves around that idea. Number two, because of this and because I am a minimalist, at least with my hair care, I think it's really important to get a haircut that is going to look good when it air dries. So if you're doing a no heat routine, I think it's important to get a haircut that is going to fit within that routine. You get a haircut that you only like the way it looks when you flat iron your hair and you're trying to not do that, it's kind of counterintuitive that way. But talk to your hairstylist. I think that's so important to communicate with them. Obviously, no one's going to the hairstylist right now, but it's important to talk to them about your hair texture and how it dries naturally. But for my no heat routine, the haircut that has really fit well into that is my long layers. I have short layers up here and then longer layers that go down pretty far. And then I have a little bit of a longer fringe. My fringe is very textured, so I didn't focus on anything too blunt because that tends to not look great if you don't style your hair. Another question I get a lot on my channel is whether or not I dye my hair. What hair dye do I use? I actually don't dye my hair. My hair is natural, and it's honestly one of the only things that when I was a lot younger, when we are a little bit more insecure going through puberty, during that time, and I'm sure a lot of you can relate, I could stand in front of a mirror and tell you 15 different things I would change about my face because it really is such a weird time. But the one thing that I would never change and one thing that I always loved was my hair color. My mom told me from a very young age, and she instilled this in me. She always said, you have such a unique hair color. And that uniqueness is what I held on to, and all of the positive affirmation. I don't know why that makes me emotional, but it really does. It's so important when we're growing up that we're hearing those positive affirmations from people that are so important to us. I love my mom so much. And she always told me how beautiful my hair color was. So even till this day, I have not touched it because I've grown to love it myself. So anyway, let's get into my actual routine. Before I get into the shower, I always brush my hair before. I really don't like to do too much combing or brushing of my hair after because the hair is so fragile once it gets wet. So I always brush my hair beforehand. I really like this wet brush, but this is the one with boar bristles between. I find that with my texture hair, it works really well. And I start at the bottom because if you think about it, when you're starting up here, you don't tend to get knots up at the top of your head. They all come down here. So starting from down here, brushing from here all the way to the bottom, and then slowly moving your way up is really going to help minimize damage. That's always how I brush my hair. But this brush, I'm very, very picky with brushes and have been for a really long time. This one I find doesn't pull out a lot of my hair. Then it's time to jump into the shower. Right now, I'm just using OGX. I know some people don't like OGX. I'm using the coconut oil OGX right now. It's affordable, it's sulfate free, and it's easily accessible. So if you have any other recommendations, especially if you have a similar hair texture to me, feel free to leave them down below. I will shower and then I will towel dry my hair, and I'm making sure I never want to wring out my hair because again, your hair is super fragile when it's wet, and it's really important during this step, especially if you have bangs, to make sure that you're letting your bangs dry naturally. You're not putting them to the side. Air drying your bangs can kind of be tricky, but what I like to do is just kind of shake them out in front. I always have pretty good success that way with air drying my bangs. So you can do this if your hair is still mostly wet, but I do like to try and wait till my hair is like at least half dry. But the next step that I like to do is put my hair in a low bun. I love using my Invisibobbles. You've probably seen these before. They look like the little telephone cord hair ties. I'm telling you, these, I'm brand loyal. I have tried some of the dupes of these and none of them last as long. And also these, if you run them under hot water, once they stretch out, they will go back to a smaller size. If you have hair that knots easily, or if you have very thick hair and you find that your hair falls, I used to be that person. I used to wear those huge hair clips that gave me such bad headaches because it was so much weight on my head. Once I moved to these, I never had that problem. I never had breakage, and it holds really well. So I will put my hair actually in a low bun. And what this low bun is going to do is once your hair kind of dries in that way, it works the same way a braid would, except the waves are a little bit longer when you use a bun. When your hair dries in a bun, it'll sort of naturally give you longer waves, which I think looks really pretty with this haircut. I will get natural waves if I just let my hair dry completely, but the good thing about this is that you can kind of put your hair up and forget about it. You can go about the rest of your day. And in that clip, you probably saw me apply this Moroccan oil. This bottle is so old and gross, but Moroccan oil is really good if you have frizz, if you deal with frizz. So it's not gonna be amazing at heat protecting. Obviously you don't need that with this routine, and it's not going to give you a lot of waves or anything really. It just works as like an anti-frizz sort of smoothing treatment. I like the way it makes my hair feel, so I always go towards it. So typically I will keep my hair up in that low bun until I'm ready to actually style my hair. But as I said before, my hair will typically look like this when I haven't done anything to it. This is hair that was just washed last night. Obviously, like second day hair, I feel like is the best, at least for my texture. Keeping it in that low bun has kept the top of my hair very smooth, which I do like. And I don't like a lot of wave to the top of my hair. I prefer when all the wave is kind of down here. And then the Moroccan oil has done a really good job at keeping it shiny, but I definitely need some volume back into my hair. But before I put any volume back into my hair, I usually like to tackle my bangs. Now, my bangs did air dry. I honestly don't think that they dried too weird. And one thing that I have totally found is that if you overwork your bangs, especially if you have just washed your hair, then you're probably going to make the situation worse. At least that's the case with my hair and my bangs. So I will say that one trick that I think a lot of us already know is that if your bangs really aren't working for you, just get them wet and let them re-dry. You can do that with a hair dryer, or you can just let them air dry. I like to let them air dry if I have the choice, to be honest. But really the only other tool that I will use is this. It's the round brush air dryer from Revlon. This really, I don't think I could have had bangs and taken that plunge without having this. This is amazing if you don't want to hold a round brush and a hair dryer and you want to get your bangs looking perfectly round. Especially if you have curtain bangs, you can get your hair to look very, very smooth with this. I also know a lot of people that just blow dry and do more of like a blowout style all over their head with this, and it makes it a lot quicker. Again, I don't really use heat styling tools a lot. This is honestly like one of the only ones I use every week. But as I mentioned, what I will do is first tackle my bangs, and this, my friends, this is the secret weapon. This is how I get my hair to look as voluminous as it does quickly. Again, if my hair is a little bit more flat like it would be on a day where I just washed it, this will fake it. This is the Bumble and Bumble Thickening Dry Spun Texture Spray. I did just try and say that about 5 times. This quite immediately will give your hair texture and life. So in my bangs, what I like to do is I will take it and I will focus it on the base of my bangs. If I want more of a piecey look, I will also take it down into the ends, and then I can kind of stick together the hairs, and I'll show you how I do that as well. I just take it at the root of my bangs and then let it dry a little bit. Definitely gives some weight to the hair, which is what you want. And then I'll just start to pick up the hair and drop it. I'm not really teasing it. You can see immediately how I have a lot more volume in my bangs, and they somehow look like they're styled, even though just a second ago they really weren't. Something you can also do is just take a little bit on your fingers and spray it, put it between your fingers. You can go in on the bottom of your bangs and then kind of give the bottom a little bit of grit, and it'll look piecey. It'll give you more of like that edgy, undone sort of bang look, which, I mean, I'm completely embracing at this point because I'm not seeing my hairdresser anytime soon. What I also like to do, because my bangs kind of curve out here and they dry like this, is I will take a little bit more on my fingers and I just exaggerate it because I like that look. I think it looks pretty. And I will, again, just take a little bit of that texture spray, put it through the ends of your bangs, and immediately, I mean, I did very little styling just then. I mean, I didn't use a heat tool at all. And just putting a little bit of that texture spray throughout the bangs and molding the bangs to kind of give you the desired effect that you want. That's what I do every day. It's really no fuss. What I would probably do if my hair was more of like 4 or 5 day hair is, instead of going in with the texture spray, I would go in with a dry shampoo. And I do have a favorite one. I do really like the one from Bumble and Bumble, the Preta powder. That one is very good. But the one that I've been really liking is this one from Chlorane. I'm completely out and I need to order a new one. It's just the basic dry shampoo from Chlorane. This one I have found does not dry out my hair and give me dandruff. If I use way too much dry shampoo too close to my scalp, I do find that it will start to give me dandruff. But I don't find that this one dries out my hair or my scalp. And it also just gives a lot of volume. Already, my face has a lot more shape because I have texturized my bangs. Now, I mean, really, it's just very low maintenance. I will then take more and put it at top half of my head from here up, mostly towards the root. Again, I'm just kind of wherever. This is really how I do it. I don't mind when my hair looks a little bit undone and tasseled because this is my texture. My hair texture has always already looked messy. And then I will just, again, do exactly what I was doing before and then just pick up the hair and drop it down. And then it'll give you a teased look, but it's not like really teased. It's not going to look too messy, but it's still gonna give you that volume. And then I will do the same thing on this side. And again, with this, I'm getting quite a lot of volume, and because this lasts in the hair and it doesn't fade, I can go into the bathroom if I feel like my hair has dropped and just do this, and then it's back. Like, it's really easy to revive, and the hair isn't crunchy, it's still movable, which I love. It's very basic. It really is just focusing on texture. I like my hair to have volume and texture. It is super, super easy. Now, what you could do now if you wanted to is you could go back into your ends, and if you find that your ends don't look as voluminous as you would like, you could also add some texture to your ends. I do feel like the cut of my hair already gives me enough texture, so I am not going to do that. But it will help, especially if you have a haircut similar to mine, if you have shorter layers up here and then long layers. Going and adding some texture spray down to these shorter layers will definitely help to give everything more volume. I'll just show you what that would look like, just so you can get an idea. See how it gave those layers a lot more volume. With my texture hair, if I give my hair a chance to air dry, I really find that I like the way that it looks, and then I can play that up. I can play with my layers more and give it more volume later. Next, when I go into my bangs, remember that it's really important, if you can, to let your hair air dry, and if you can't, use something like the Revlon round brush or a round brush and a hair dryer and dry them, and then go back in and add the texture as you need it. Again, it doesn't have to be this texture spray, but this one I've just found has done an excellent job, and I'm not really looking for another one, to be honest. Again, this is just how I do my hair. I am not a hair expert. I tend to stick with the same thing with my hair, but I like it. I think it's very easy while also giving me the look that I want. I definitely meet somewhere in the middle. I would love to have my hair, you know, blown out every single day professionally and just have perfectly smooth hair. I have more thick, not super textured, but I have more texture to my hair, so I feel like it's better to play that up rather than try and make my hair completely smooth every single day. Let me know down below if you guys found the video helpful and what other videos you want to see coming up. I would love to make those for you. I will hopefully see you in my next one.